Noted. GM everyone, and welcome to the sixth Ambire community call, where we will discuss all the latest updates from the Ambire kitchen. We have the usual suspects, Ivo Georgiev, who is the CEO and
Hey
co-founder,
everyone.
and Ivan, Chief of Marketing. Hello, mic check.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone.
All good. Okay.
Yep.
Think we can start with a question for Ivo. I think that we are all wondering what is currently the top priority at Ambire.
Yeah, so in the past few months, we have been very deep in bug fixing mode. So our top priority is product quality in terms of both like bugs and glitches, but also in terms of performance. So we know that for our users, which are like the core Ethereum community and like DGens, we know that the most important thing for them, obviously is UX and security, but a very big part of this is performance and getting stuff to load quickly and something that just works and works all the time. So this is our big priority until Dev Connect.
How do you? We heard quite a bit about user interviews and all the process that went into deciding what to focus on next. Can you walk us a bit through the process? Why do you carry out user interviews? Who can join, and so on?
Yeah, that's a great question, and this is the next thing that I was gonna say. That actually the way we determine what's most important at the moment, and the way that we determine what to do with the product next is through user interviews. And the way we do this process is we get users who are valuable to us, and we schedule a one-on-one call where we give them specific tasks to perform with the wallet. And then we just observe without giving them any hints and without like pushing them in any like direction. We observe what they do with the product, and we observe what breaks, what they don't understand, and etc. And this has allowed us to improve on the product massively.
Okay, so yeah, if you are someone who's listening to this, anyone can join an interview, whether if you have used Wallet before or no. We have a link in Discord and Telegram chats. Simply apply, take a slot, and it takes approximately an hour to chat with the team, and we promise it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving to the next topic, I think that we can go over EIP 7702. It's been approximately a bit more than 4 months since Ethereum Pectra. Ivo, can you let us know what are some of the takeaways and some stats since this EIP has been live?
Great question. So first of all, I would say that the EAP is a massive success. It's a massive success in that I think it's one of the most successful examples of Ethereum coordination ever. And it's not only successful in terms of execution and in terms of shipping the EAP fast, but also it's very successful at going through a lot of contention and an adversarial environment, kind of. And it was just a really contentious EAP for a couple of reasons. So one of the reasons was that there has been a lot of technical debates in terms of the details of the EAP, and a lot of people essentially coming out of the woodworks or just coming out with like very bold statements on what the EAP should be. And there was a lot of like nuanced interests competing with each other. So I think that the core team and everyone around the EAP managed to both ship the EAP very quickly and at the same time not neglect the concerns of the community. And like every single concern with the EAP was very well addressed, and every single piece of good feedback was incorporated into the EAP. So I think that this EAP has been an excellent display by everyone involved. There has been like a few exceptions in the real world, which is one of the main ones is the hardware wallets. So hardware wallets have been lagging behind, and unfortunately, I think the EIP authors and the Ethereum Foundation and basically everyone involved, I think is doing. Basically, we're doing our best with what we have, but the big hardware wallet companies have been a little bit reluctant, and I think the big FUD around this EAP, which I guess we're gonna get into later in the call. The big FUD of the EAP has been kind of brainwashing them, I think, maybe to some extent. So what ended up happening is both Ledger and Trezor have been quite slow in shipping this. Grid Plus has been a bit faster. Ledger, I think, already shipped it, but with very, very limited whitelist, and Trezor hasn't shipped it yet. But it's gonna happen. It's just those companies are a bit paranoid in terms of security, and that's actually good for consumers because you can imagine that you don't want vulnerabilities in hardware wallets, obviously. So, yeah. But when I was talking about brainwashing, what I meant is that a lot of people were thinking that 7702 is not compatible with cold storage, which is honestly absolutely not true. It's an absolute myth. And 7702 is absolutely compatible with cold storage.
Yeah, mentioning consumers and the end users, can we feel a bit? So, what are some things that this EIP enabled for users in like everyday life? What are the biggest changes for the user and
Great,
some of the users?
great question. And it's really important here to note that EAPs are always overhyped, but not in a bad way. So what ends up happening is there is a new EAP, and everyone is promoting it as it will be like a very big change in the ecosystem, and then it arrives and nothing happens, and that's absolutely normal because all of those features that were promised with 7702, first of all, they already existed. Like they were already live in Ambire, right? So transaction batching, being able to get rid of ERC20 approvals, even like automated transactions, and even stuff like cross-chain interoperability. All of those things, they were already there to a big extent. And this EAP simply enabled them for more accounts and simply enabled them for the already existing accounts. So from one perspective, we have yes, it enabled them for already existing accounts, but not hardware wallets, which is kind of why this transition is taking longer. And second of all, it already enabled stuff that people could already use with smarter accounts, with smart accounts. So in that regard, this is why it kind of felt like it was flopping, but the reality is very different. The reality is like UX is getting incrementally better all the time. So it's really hard to notice how much better we are now than 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or like 5 years ago when all the transactions were failing and gas was like $100. So everything is getting incrementally better over time. And we can absolutely credit 7702 as being part of this. But obviously, it's gonna take more effort for us to fully get there. And what I wanted to say here as a really important point is that 7702 also enables future changes. So yeah, it allows us to get rid of ERC20 approvals, and you can already see this live on Uniswap, on Jumper, on Bungee. You can see that already approvals, they do not bother you. They're not part of the flow. So that's great. But we also enable future flows like interoperability, like consolidating all of your balances into one. So like all of your USDCs on all of the different chains can be treated as one in the future. And stuff like permissions, where you give like one permission to a dApp and you don't need the wallet pop-up every time you interact with the dApp. So it opens the door to those things, but it also requires involvement from dApps and from the community. It will not happen overnight, right? It won't be just like the moment 7702 is everywhere, we'll have this. We also need like more work from dApps, from wallets, etc.
Yeah, and just the other day I saw some stats. I think that there has been about 1,077,002 transactions so far. And I'm just curious, do we know, is there any estimate on like what percentage of funds is stored on hardware wallets versus not? Is there any estimate or can we know this? Like,
Honestly, you're catching me unprepared on this one because I don't have any numbers. But intuitively, I would guess that no, it's not a guess because I've checked it before, and I think probably at least 70% of the funds um, are on hardware wallets. But this is really tough to estimate because for an EOA, you have no way of knowing from the on-chain data whether it's a hardware wallet or it's not. So I know this data because I've looked at surveys, and then those surveys have been cross-referenced with on-chain balances. But it's really hard to get hard data. So maybe 70% of the funds on the Ethereum network at the moment on EOAs are not taking advantage of 7702 yet. And those are just the accounts that can take advantage of 7702. Not to mention the accounts that are still using Rabi, which doesn't support 7702. So in terms of actual real life adoption, it's happening slowly, but there are good reasons for this. As I said, for hardware wallets, it's better to take things safely in a way, and to take things slow rather than ship something that isn't secure. But also, this is maybe a good moment to say that there is nothing inherently insecure in 7702 itself. We're talking here just simply about the fact that every change to a hardware wallet firmware is risky. Like even if you're changing like the most arbitrary thing, you need to like be absolutely certain that this change is safe. So that's really difficult. But yeah, basically there's 7702 in itself. There's nothing insecure about it. There has been this myth that there are malicious delegations, and yes, there are malicious delegations, but those happen to leaked private keys, and they don't happen through the wallet. So there's no such thing like a DApp tricking you into giving it like a signature for a malicious delegation. That's impossible. That's impossible uh, in practical terms, and also to a big extent in theoretical terms, because there is no such communication protocol between a DApp and a wallet where a DApp can request delegation. So the wallet is entirely responsible for the delegation, and what you're seeing in all of the news of like malicious delegations is for leaked private keys. And for leaked private keys, you can do whatever you want.
yeah, exactly. This was I wanted to bring highlight to this because in last days there has been a lot of discussion about 7702 and batch drains, and so far, one case that I saw repeating is users asking if their private key or seed phrase got compromised. Is it enough if they undelegate the contract that the malicious contract?
No, because the private key is already leaked. So at any given time, the attacker can redelegate. But the thing is, in practice, we've seen that in many cases attackers do not track this really closely. So so what ends up happening is when you remove their delegation, you have like a few minutes of breathing room. And this is something that Ambire is really good at because a lot of people have been reporting that they managed to save their funds through Ambire because they go on Ambire and they do a transfer, and Ambire automatically removes the hacker's delegation, installs our own delegation, and does whatever you need to do. So by the time the attacker has realized, you've already like sort of cut access to them for a bit of time. And this is really good. Like it's excellent for any product to be able to do that. But long term, it's just a cat and mouse game. Like an attacker can change this and make it faster. So in any case, I would say that at the moment it works. But if you have a leaked private key, like nothing can save you, pretty much.
Noted, noted. Okay, I think that we can move to the next topic, which is governance updates and buybacks.
So
Recently,
Arash, before you do that, I will just jump out of the call for a second so that I can stream to my audience. and Ivan will cover the beginning of this, and then I will jump in to further explain about this topic.
All right. Waiting for you, Ivo.
Deal. Okay, we can wait.
Um,
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ivan can cover the question on. Can you cover a bit on the latest news from the governance side and also from buybacks?
Yeah, sure. Well, one big news around governance is that recently we've been very active with our governance votes, and we've reached a almost constant governance votes reaching around 100 voters, which is amazing. We're getting more and more people active in the community into taking decisions about how we develop Ambire and everything related to the product, which is amazing.
Yeah. So which are some of the questions that usually go through Ambire governance? What is the usual process, and what kind of decisions are taken in the governance in general?
Recently we've been, as you know, our most active campaign that Ambire has been into for a long time is the Ambire Rewards, which is our mechanism for bringing more people into the Ambire ecosystem, teaching them about how to use Ambire 7702 and more. And normally, last several governance votes were all touching upon the development of Ambire Rewards. And we asked people all sorts of actually crucial decisions for the development of the Ambire Rewards program, length of the season, how much incentive we should put into each season. Actually, really big decisions that we tried to get our community into. And yeah,
Okay.
usually the process. By the way, usually Ambire governance proposals come from the team. However, it should be said that everyone can propose something, a decision, a vote in our governance module. And usually the process is the following. When the team suggests a vote, we announce the draft of the vote, the draft of the proposal, and there's a period in which we let the community and actually invite everyone to take part into discussing the draft, editing the draft before it goes into voting. So we don't actually ask the community only once with the actual snapshot vote. We ask them to participate into drafting the proposal in the best possible way, identifying strengths and weaknesses of the proposal, and helping us shape it as much as possible before it goes into decision. This process takes around 5 to 7 days. Then usually it goes into voting. And yeah, last few votes, so 100 voters, around 100 voters, which is amazing.
Awesome. And governance also decides how the funds from buybacks get spent. Ivo, can you walk us through a bit through the mechanism of buybacks? How do they work? Where the funds come from? And what amounts have been bought back from the market recently?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So basically, Ambire is a cyberpunk company. So the whole idea is that value would be accrued not on shares or not on legal entities, but instead on the token. So this is why we really believe in our token and we think it's so powerful because the whole point here is like not just to create like some basic utility token or something or some basic governance token, but basically it's the like the soul of the company. Like it's really equivalent to like owning a part of the company. So the whole idea here is that it doesn't give you dividends, obviously, but you can use it to vote on where the revenue of the company goes into. So currently, the revenue of the company is coming from swaps and transaction fees in the case of using like sponsored transactions. So everything goes to a single address at the moment, and basically everything is used to buy back the token and just to hold it. And then those holdings can be further distributed through governance. But at the moment, the numbers are the revenue is, I think, nearly 300,000 historically, and all of this has been used for buybacks, including some further amounts from our treasury, and the total tokens that have been bought back are over 60 million wallet.
Yeah, and I think that
By
you
the-
can check that at buybacks.ambire.eth.
Yep,
That's the
yeah, very good point. We have an ENS where everyone can track the buybacks, buybacks.ambire.eth, where yeah, you can see that we keep all of those tokens on this address.
Yeah, and eventually the idea is to ask the community what at some point what should we do with those tokens or part of those tokens. Yeah.
Exactly, that's the whole point of the governance, that it not only does it decide things about how the token is distributed in the name of rewards, in the face of rewards, but also product decisions and also what to do with the buybacks. So essentially, where does the revenue of the company go into? Like, what do we focus on as a company? And also worth noting that Ambire Rewards is essentially part of the essence of the token, because it's not only a rewards program where you just earn some money for using the product, but it's essentially the way that the token is distributed. And pretty much all of the supply has been distributed that way so far, other than like small exceptions. So what I mean by that is it's distributed to actual users who actually do transactions on the wallet, who actually keep funds on the wallet, and it's distributed through a formula which is square root of XP, so square root of your points that you're getting for making transactions, multiplied by the square root of your balance. So you can get the token like either through holding money on the wallet, or through like doing basically being active on the wallet, or basically the best is to do both, because you're gonna have like the highest weight. So yeah, it's distributed in a way that we believe is fair based on actual usage of the product. Basically, it's your, let's say, like your governance power, which you obtain through using the product.
And there is no better intro to talking a bit more about the ongoing and the future season of rewards. At the moment, the season is in season 1. And Ivo, can you walk us just a bit through what are some findings from running 2 seasons, and what are some plans for the future?
Great question. So I would say that the biggest latest finding from the current season is that not everyone seems to be aware that, first of all, that you earn real money from using Ambire rewards. So not everyone seems to be aware that this is the distribution method of the token itself. And this is because it's structured in kind of a long game, right? Um, through the through the time that you are in rewards, you don't immediately see the amount of tokens that you're about to get. You see the XP. So people are not fully aware that it translates to actual real tokens at the end of the season. So that's one of the big findings. And then the other finding is that people are not fully aware how important the balance is, because we have a lot of users who actually like they're very active on the wallet. So like they make at least 20 transactions per day, which is the maximum that we count. They do swaps, they do bridges, they do many things, and then they don't realize why someone who has a very high balance has a higher weight. And the reason is that we value those things like not exactly equally, but we value them both like we value the square root of them multiplied by each other. So what this means is that they're both important, but the more you have, the less important it becomes. So this is a mechanism to kind of prevent it from being unfair to small wallets, and to negate the unfair advantage that whales have. but at the same time it negates the unfair advantage that like crazy farmers have, right? So if you're like clicking 24 hours per day, the formula tries to negate this advantage that you gain from this. So it's designed to be as fair as possible, and both the balance and the activity matter a lot. But you can get like really far only using one or the other. But I would say that basically, in realistic terms, the balance is maybe a little bit more important because clicking and doing stuff takes time. But simply putting your balance on the wallet, it doesn't take much time. It takes kind of a leap of faith though, because not everyone is comfortable switching to a new wallet. So yeah, basically that's the other finding, that not everyone is aware of the importance of your wallet balance. So this is what we're working on at the moment, kind of revamping the UI from this and making it like explain fully what is going on. And in terms of findings from season zero, from the previous season, I would say that the season zero UI was really like game-like, and people they resonated to that. They loved it, but again, for the reason of conveying that this is a very serious thing that distributes the actual token, we changed the design to be like more like a Web3 company rather than a game.
Yeah, for everyone tracking, back then it was called Ambire Legends, and now you can find it at rewards.ambire.com. Are there any other changes coming for season one? What's the plan for?
Yes. So one other thing that we are gonna implement is we're gonna make it more integrated into the Ambire UI itself. So even if you're a new user and you don't know about rewards yet, and you're completely unaware, you're gonna have like some indication in the dashboard of what is going on, and that a token distribution is going on, and that you can participate in it simply by importing an account that has money on it. So that's one of the things. But then there are a couple of more things that we want to run governance proposals for, and we want to run by the community, which is, first of all, changing how points are distributed for swaps and bridges, because right now it's square rooted, which means that swapping double the amount won't lead to double the XP. We want to change this to make it more linear, because the XP is square rooted in the formula anyway. So we want to give like more importance to the people who actually like do volume on Ambire. So that's one of the things. And then another thing would be extending the deadline for season one. I think this will be the biggest one, and we're very convinced that this is important. So again, we're going to run a governance proposal for it, and this is again because people need to realize that this is a very serious token distribution, and we want to give them some time to get accustomed to the new UI and the new hints that this is going on. Basically, it's more fair if everyone knows that Ambire rewards is a thing, and it's more fair if everyone knows how to truly maximize it.
Okay, noted. I think that we extinguished all the topics about rewards, and we can move forward to Kohaku. If you've been following the news on the interop and privacy sphere, you know that the Ethereum Foundation forked Ambire to work on both those topics. And Ivo, can you fill us in with some of the latest details from the wallet?
Yeah, of course. So, what I would like to say first is talk a little bit about Ambire's own roadmap before going into Kohaku. So there are a lot of features that overlap with the goals of the Ethereum Foundation. So one of them is interoperability. So like being able to consolidate balances from all the different chains and getting rid of this hell where you have to be aware of every single layer two and you have to be aware that you have balances on those different layer twos. And this is something that we've been already working on in the face of the gas tank. The gas tank is actually already solving this issue, at least for transaction payments. But for spending your actual balances, this is something that we are working on, in the sense that we have our eyes set on how to solve this. And this is also something that the Kohaku project started with. So there is a lot of synergy there between Kohaku and Ambire in terms of our goals. It's just that at the moment, Ambire is like a production-ready wallet. Meanwhile, Kohaku is meant to be more of an experiment initially. Eventually, of course, it's going to become production-ready as well. And also worth noting that Kohaku started with the goal of interoperability, but then switched its target to privacy, which is also something that we're very interested in. And then the final synergy that I want to mention is that Kohaku is going to work eventually on social recovery, and this is also on our agenda. So for all of those things, we're not going to be competing, and we're going to be working together with the Ethereum Foundation to ship those features. So this is actually pretty excellent, not only for us, not only for them, but for the entire industry. Because one of the goals of Kohaku is to ship SDKs, plural maybe, or maybe one, that provide those features: privacy, interoperability, and social recovery. So we're very grateful for being able to collaborate on that with the Ethereum Foundation and with the Wonderland team. And we think that things are going pretty great.
Yeah, there were quite a couple of people who came into chats and started asking Kohaku, when can we actually use something? Do you have any dates or like
Good
a
question. So obviously we're not part of the team. I mean, we're not directly part of the Kohaku team. So we don't know pretty much. But I'm hearing that, or not exactly hearing, but it makes sense that something would be ready by DevConnect. So yeah, basically, I think that's a good milestone to be looking at, and I think that privacy features will probably be shipped first.
Interesting.
Okay.
I just want to mention, it's like a little out of topic, but if anyone watching the stream, because we have more than 100 viewers currently, has any questions to any of us, you can simply type your question under the stream where you're watching. Usually it'd be Ambire's profile on X, or Alash, Ivo, or mine. So just type your question and we'll be happy to answer those.
Cool. How about some of the future plans for Ambire? What are some of the things that we can expect in the following months?
Actually, I indirectly spoke about them, not indirectly, but more like accidentally, because some of the next priorities are going to be, first of all, interoperability. So being able to consolidate balances automatically. And then another very big priority is social recovery. And when I say social, I don't necessarily mean with friends, but also it can mean like passkeys, emails, etc. So being able to recover accounts is a big priority. We already have this to some extent, but working more on it is a priority. And then another thing would be the mobile wallet, and we see the mobile version of the wallet as a complement to the web, to the extension essentially. So it's not going to be something that has to have like every single feature that the extension has. It's a different product for different needs and for different goals. What we're getting from user interviews is that people mostly use mobile wallets as something like not exactly temporary, but like some funds to play with or some funds to pay friends. They don't use it the same way that they use an extension. So with an extension, you will go to Aave and you will like put 50% of your net worth as collateral, and then get a loan and do like very very serious stuff. And for this, you want the big screen. And by the way, this is also one of the reasons why we emphasize using screen real estate in Ambire. And this is something that people have been loving most of the time. But on a mobile wallet, it's a totally different thing. So yeah, one of the things that we're going to focus on is tracking your portfolio. This is a very big demand. Second of all will be obviously payments. And then third would be simply using your phone as a second factor to your like big wallet that's managed on the extension. So like using it for security, which is something that phones are pretty amazing at. So yeah, that's pretty much a quick overview, and this is already like a lot of things to implement.
Yeah. What about future events, where can we see our fellow project teams?
Well, first of all, we have It's Sofia coming up very soon. And I would say that It's Sofia is like the crown jewel of Eastern Europe in terms of crypto events. And we're going to have a panel, we're going to have a talk, and we're going to have a surprise during the talk as well. Not exactly a product announcement, but I'm sure that you guys will love it. I'm not sure to what extent I can tease it. And then after this, we have Dev Connect, which is obviously like huge.
Yeah, and this year, this conference season has actually been pretty busy for us. We managed to cover a lot of events. We went to Denver, SEC, Berlin, Warsaw, now Dev Connect. So yeah, it's been a busy conference season, but it's amazing because we managed to talk to a lot of people and meet the industry.
Yep.
And it's we hope for Argentina as well.
Yep, looking forward to Dev Connect for sure. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Any other topics? If not, I think that we covered quite a bunch of them today.
Yeah, the audience is shy today. However, you can always find us on Discord, on Telegram. The team will be happy to answer your questions and get into chaotic discussions.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's because we already dropped like a lot of alpha.
Sure.
Okay, then this wraps up today's community call. Ivan, Ivo, everyone, thank you very much for joining, and see you around in the chats.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Have a good
Bye-bye.
one.